الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا. ما بعد، أحبتي في الله، مرحبا بكم ومرحبا بالجميع. We are, mashallah, tabarak ar-Rahman, making some major progress in terms of our completion or nearing the completion of the 40 Hadeeth Nawawi, even though we know that there are actually more than 40. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the fact that it was rounded up to the number 40. And we are currently at the Hadith, this 32nd Hadith, Al-Hadith الثاني والثلاثون. عن أبي سعيد سعد بن مالك بن سنان الخدري رضي الله عنه أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: لا ضرر ولا ضرار. حديث حسن رواه ابن ماجه والدارقطني وغيرهما مسندا، ورواه مالك في الموطأ مرسلا عن عمرو بن يحيى عن أبيه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فأسقط أبا سعيد، وله طرق يقوي بعضها بعضا. Now, this particular narration is one of the most amazing narrations in Islam. And this is one of the evidences regarding the trait that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam enjoyed, and that is the trait of having been given jawami' al-kalim, the preciseness or the precision and concision in speech. Meaning the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would say very few words that will amplify thousands of meanings. Very few words that cover a wide range, a broad range of topics, subjects, principles, foundations, and so on and so forth. Yani, this hadith is literally 4 words, could be 2 words if you don't want to count the lam, the la, and harful jar, or afwan, harful atf, al-waw. If you were to count them as words, then you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. Bismillah. 5 words that scholars can literally write hundreds of books on this hadith, and they can deduce and apply this hadith on hundreds of thousands of events that have occurred, that are occurring, and that will occur until Yawm al-Qiyamah. So the Prophet ﷺ said, La darara wa la dirara. There should be no harm. There should be no harm. Don't cause harm. Don't create harm. Don't propagate harm. Don't engage in harm. Wala dirar, and no reciprocation of harm. No harm directly, no reciprocation of harm indirectly. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And the Sharh, Shaykh Muhammed bin Saalih bin Uthaymeen rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi said, La darar, ad-darar ma'roof. Regarding the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, no harm, he said, harm is known. وَالضَّرَرُ يَكُونُ فِي الْبَدَنِ وَيَكُونُ فِي الْمَالِ. Harm could be pertaining to one's body, and it could be pertaining to one's wealth. Mal is money, and sometimes mal is used to refer to wealth, and that includes different assets, gold, silver, jewelry, because these are technically mal. So there's the contemporary usage of mal, meaning currency, usually paper currency, right? And then there's the broader meaning of mal, which is everything that you basically own that is of value, be it assets, be it gold, silver, jewelry, as I've mentioned previously, cattle, cars, planes, what have you. وَيَكُونُ فِي الْأَوْلَادِ, and it also could be in children. وَيَكُونُ فِي الْمَوَاشِي وَغَيْرِهَا, and it could be in cattle, livestock, and other than that. ولا ضرار أي ولا مضارة, and there should be no dirar, meaning no reciprocation. What the Shaykh said, والفرق بين الضرر والضرار, he's going to explain what is the difference between ضرر and dirar. أن الضرر يحصل بدون قصد, that harm occurs unintentionally. Harm occurs unintentionally, without an intent to cause harm. والمضارة بقصد, whereas مضارة is done intentionally. ولهذا جاءت بصيغة المفاعلة. That's why it comes under the format, the linguistic format of مفاعلة, like مبالغة, like مقاتلة, like مدافعة, and words of that nature. مصارعة, wrestling. مثال ذلك, an example of that, the Shaykh said, رجل له جار وعنده شجرة يسقيها كل يوم. A man has a neighbor and he has a tree which he waters every day. وإذا بالماء يدخل على جاره ويفسد عليه. But because of him watering his plant or his tree, that water that is being used is actually entering upon his neighbor's property and causing him harm. لكنه لم يعلم, but he did not know, he did not intend on doing that. فهذا نسميه ضرارا. This we call dirar. This is the reciprocation of harm. Remember, this is the dirar, which is not the first one, not the darar. This is the dirar. مثال آخر, another example. رجل بينه وبين جاره سوء تفاهم. A man has a dispute or misunderstanding between him and his neighbor. A person has a misunderstanding between him and his neighbor. Bismillah. فقال, so he said, لأفعلن به ما يضره. I'm going to do something that is going to harm him. فركب موتورا له صوت كصوت الدركتر عند جدار جاره وقصده الإضرار بجاري وقصده الإضرار بجاري, فهذا نقول مضار. So he basically got into like this some sort of motor vehicle which has a sound like the sound of the drill. Okay, so he used some sort of vehicle or like this, like mowing machine that has a sound similar to the sound of the drill. And he did this with the intention to harm his neighbor. So we say this is, فنقول هذا مضار. This is مضار. والمضار لا يرفع ضرره إذا تبين له بل هو قاصده. لا يرفع ضرره إذا تبين له. Now مضار, Allahu Akbar. The person who's مضار is the person who does not stop or desist from his harm once it becomes clear to him, rather he intends it. وأما الضرر, as for harm, فإنه إذا تبين لمن وقع منه الضرر رفعه. When it becomes clear to him that this has happened for him, he removes it. I'll give you an example that is very relevant to Twitter. When I first started using X or Twitter, I did not know that, for example, if I saw some video or if some lady who's not wearing a hijab posted something, and then I replied, then the people that follow me will see the reply. So in essence, I become a propagator of this, I'm sharing and I'm creating exposure to this non-hijabi woman. That is darar. Then some brother said, listen, it's best that you don't, do this again, because when you do that, now you're actually facilitating this. So I desisted. So now, unless I make a mistake, if there's going to be anything or any reply I'm going to reply to, which will have either music or women that are not covered properly, whatever, I avoid it and stay away from it. Why? Because I don't want to be a facilitator of evil. Okay? And I'm not praising myself. I'm just telling you that's how each and every one of us should be. Dirar is when those other guys posted a video about my personal life, which I've repented from, and they were told, look, please, I'm the person, I'm the person concerned about this issue, and I don't approve of this, and remove it. Fear Allah, because you're now letting all these people watch this video, so everybody has to hear music, and everybody has to see a woman that is not wearing hijab, and then also you're exposing your brother's personal life and sins. So desist. And they don't. Wallahi, they don't. They kept the videos. They kept the videos, and now it's circulating again. Why? Because those people don't follow Islam in the ultimate sense. Those are the liberalists. Those are liberal people who apply Islam conveniently when it suits their agenda. When it doesn't suit their agenda, they don't apply it. It's amazing. But this is an example of darar and dirar. So if you do something and you don't know, unintentionally you cause harm. Somebody informs you, oh, my bad, I stand corrected. I'm going to make changes. I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to, whatever. I'm going to deal with the issue. That's the darar. Dirar is when this person who is now directly and purposely trying to cause harm, usually when they're told, they will not desist. بل هو قاصده. The Shaykh said he intends it. وأما الضرر فإنه إذا تبين لما وقع منه ضرر. As for the darar, when the person knows that, oh, I resulted in harm, then they remove it and they avoid it. Subhanallah al-Azim. See the importance of ilm. When you know these things, you know how to conduct yourself. When you don't, you're just following your desires. وهذا الحديث أصل عظيم في أبواب كثيرة. Now listen to this now. Bismillah. This hadith is a great foundational principle in so many chapters, in so many aspects of Islam. ولا سيما في المعاملات, specifically and particularly in mu'amalat, in transactions. كالبيع والشراء والرهن والارتهان, such as buying and selling and mortgaging and leaving and what is the term for irtihan? Like a pawn shop, like when you pawn something. وكذلك في الأنكحة يضار الرجل زوجته أو هي تضار زوجها. Or similarly in marriages, where a husband might be harming his wife, or a wife might be harming her husband. وكذلك في الوصايا يوصي الرجل وصية يضر بها الورثة. Or in wasaya, in the will that the people leave behind, wherein a man will leave a will that would harm the inheritance. طيب, just for the record, Brother Ahmed, may Allah bless you. Jazakallah khair. You're not doing anything wrong. Okay, you're giving salam, and that's beautiful. But one of our rules in this live class is that we don't really mention anything on the chat at all, unless I misquote an ayah, or unless you cannot hear me, or there's a problem in the video, in which case I would like to hear your feedback. But the general rule is, during the class, there should be absolutely no salam and returning salam, and no discussions and no comments and nothing. During the class, it's focused, because it's my fault, my deficiency, my weakness. I get easily distracted. Now, Brother Adil, mashallah, tabarakallah, is a little rough. So Adil cuts no slack. But then again, he's doing this because he wants to manage. He's doing this out of concern and courtesy for me. So may Allah Azza wa Jal reward him with goodness. So if you don't know, it might seem like shocking to you, but it's not. It's just that we're trying to keep a certain protocol for the fluidness of the class. We want the class to be fluid and continuous. All right? So no problem. Let's all love each other for the sake of Allah. Keep a cool approach, and we're fine. Just for the future, Ahmed, I think also yesterday you joined and you gave salam. No need, brother. Barakallah fiqh. Join, listen, and at the end of the class, during the Q&A, knock yourself out. All right? Jazakallahu khairan. Anta wa man istama'a ma'ak. طيب, إذن, the Shaykh said, فالقاعدة. So the principle is, متى ثبت الضرر متى ثبت الضرر وجب رفعه. So the principle says, once harm has been affirmed, then it is obligatory to alleviate it. Anytime we establish that harm has occurred, it is on all of us, it's incumbent and obligatory on all of us to remove the harm. ومتى ثبت الإضرار وجب رفعه بعقوبة قاصد الإضرار. And once the reciprocation of harm is established, meaning once someone purposely and intentionally causes harm, not accidentally, unintentionally, purposely and intentionally causes harm, we must also remove this harm while punishing the causer of the harm, the causer of the reciprocation of harm. ومن ذلك مثلا, he's going to give us an example. كانوا في الجاهلية يطلق الرجل المرأة إذا شارفت انقضاء العدة راجعها. At the time of Jahiliyyah, a man would divorce his wife until when the time of her waiting period is about to end, he will take her back. ثم طلقها ثانية. Allahu Akbar. Then he would divorce her a second time. فإذا شارفت انقضاء العدة راجعها. Once the waiting period for her divorce is about to end, then he will take her back again. ثم طلقها ثالثة ورابعة. Then he would do this to her a third time and a fourth time. لقصد الإضرار. He's doing this because he wants to harm her. He's basically toying with her. You're divorced, but he doesn't let her be free. It's not like she's divorced, she can move on with her life and now and get married. No, she has a waiting period. And during the waiting period, he still has access to her, right? He has access to her. Yes, they may not have relations. And if they were to have relations, then that means he's taken her back, which is in Islam. But in Jahiliyyah, they had different rules and regulations. Nevertheless, she was still not free from him. So she will still be waiting for a waiting period. Now that it's about to end and she, once the waiting period is concluded, she's technically going to become free. He says, I take you back now. And then he divorces her again. فرفع الله تعالى ذلك لحد 3 طلقات فقط. So Allah Azza wa Jal removed this kind of ruling, this jahili times of ignorance ruling, and he made it 3 divorces as a limit. مثال آخر, another example. رجل طلق امرأته ولها أولاد منه. A man divorced his wife and she has children. She has children from him. حضانتهم للأم إلا إذا تزوجت. Now the custody of the children is with the mother unless she gets remarried. Unless she gets remarried, she gets to keep the children. والمرأة تريد أن تتزوج ولكن تخشى إذا تزوجت أن يأخذ أولاده. And this woman wants to get married. However, she fears that if she does get married, then he will take her children. فتجده يهددها ويقول إن تزوجتي أخذت الأولاد. So you see him threatening her and telling her, if you get married, I'm going to take the kids. وهو ليس له رغبة في الأولاد ولا يريدهم. Subhanallah. All whilst he does not have any interest in these kids, nor does he even want them. يعني حتى العيال خلي ولي. Even his kids, يلا أمشي. Yeah. And subhanallah. And parents could be like that. Parents could reach a point where they're so fed up with their children's misbehavior and misconduct and negligence that they reach a point where you know what? I don't care what happens to you. For real. Go do you. Is that normal? No. Is that praiseworthy? No. Is that factual? Yes. Why? Because of things leading up to this point. It is not what usually happens, but it could happen. You keep playing stupid games and you will eventually get a stupid prize. So what is on everybody is to stop playing stupid games. Play smart games. Know what Allah wants of you and what is expected of you, and stick to the rule. You will get nothing but love and pampering and everything that you want. Everything that you want and more than you ask for. Things that you didn't even think about. They'll be brought to you on a silver platter by Allah. That's how most parents are, by Allah. That's how most parents are. But most kids, and I'm talking about those who are of age. Yani you've reached 15 and above, you're a teenager now, you've reached puberty. You're responsible, your brain has grown enough for you to make these distinctions. You're not a 5-year-old child. You know what I'm saying? You got to do what you got to do. So this father over here does not even care about يلا روح امشي انت والعيال انقلعوا كله يطلع برا البيت. I may live by myself, drink some coffee and have a great time. Why not? ولو أخذهم لأضاعهم. And even if he were to take these children, he would basically ruin them. أضاعهم, he will waste them in the sense that he will not even look after them and take care of them and raise them properly, what have you. لكن قصده المضارة بالمرأة بأن لا تتزوج. His main intention is to harm this woman so that she doesn't get remarried. فهذا لا شك أنه حرام وعدوان عليها. There's no doubt that this is forbidden and a type of transgression against her. ولو تزوجت وأخذ أولادها منها مع قيامها بواجب الحضانة ورضا زوجها الثاني بذلك. ورضا زوجها الثاني بذلك. It should be ورضي زوجها الثاني بذلك. If it's not a verb here, this is a noun. And had she gotten married, again, like remarried, and taken her children with her, while fulfilling the rights of the custody of the children, meaning taking care of them and raising them, with the agreement of the second husband, with the agreement of her new husband. And he doesn't mind that she comes along with her children. لكن قال, however, this man says, أريد أن أضارها. I want to harm this woman. ونعرف أنه إذا أخذهم لم يهتم بهم. And we know that if he were to take them, he would never take care of them. بل ربما يدعهم تحت رعاية ضرة أمهم. بل ربما يدعهم تحت رعاية ضرة أمهم. Rather, he might leave them under the care of his new wife. So the Durra is basically the second wife. So he takes the children from their mother and he lets his their stepmother basically look after them. يعني زوجة الثانية, the second wife. وما ظنك إذا كان أولاد ضرتها تحت رعايتها سوف تهملهم. What do you think about, for the most part, obviously, usually the second wife, when she has to look after the children of the first wife, she's just going to ignore them. وسوف تقدم أولاد عليهم, and she will give preference to her own kids over her her husband's kids from his first wife. وسوف تهينهم, and she might even insult them. ولكنه أخذهم للمضارة. However, he only took them because he wanted to harm his first wife. فهذا لا شك أنه محرم. No doubt this is haram. All right. مثال آخر. The Shaykh rahimahullah was given a lot of examples so we could connect this with our daily lives. رجل أوصى بعد موته بنصف ماله لرجل آخر من أجل أن ينقص سهام الورثة. A man left in his will or gave half of his wealth to another man after his death in order to decrease the prescribed share of the heirs. So the heirs or the inheritors, they have a designated share that Allah Azza wa Jal stipulated in Surah An-Nisa. All of you should know what is known as Al-Fara'id, Ilm Al-Fara'id, Bismillah, which is the law of inheritance. And there's judges and qudat who are specialized in breaking it down and telling you who gets what after a man dies. So this man doesn't want his family to get the share, so he gives half of his wealth to some other guy. فهذا محرم عليه مع أن للورثة أن يبطلوا ما زاد عن الثلث. This is forbidden against him. This is forbidden upon him. عفوا. Even though the heirs have the right to nullify anything that is beyond a third, meaning he is entitled to give only a third. Thuluth. Thuluth is not a third. It's it is. It is. نعم, it's a third. الربع is a quarter, which is الربع. نعم, ثلث third. مثال آخر, another example. رجل له ابن عم بعيد لا يرثه غيره. A man has a cousin who's far, and no one else can inherit him. فأراد أن يضاره وأوصى بثلث ماله. He wanted to harm this cousin of his, so he gave as a wasiyah, as a will, a third of his money. مضارة لابن العم البعيد ألا يأخذ المال, in order to harm this distant cousin so that he doesn't take any money. فهذا أيضا حرام. This is also forbidden. ولو سرنا على هذا الحديث لصلحت الأحوال. الله أكبر. If we the Muslims were to apply this hadith, our affairs would be rectified. لكن النفوس مجبولة على الشح والعدوان. However, and sadly, people, souls, selves, the people, النفوس يعني one soul. مجبولة is what is the word? Like it's molded. It's designed in a way to be miserly and transgressive. فتجد الرجل يضار أخاه. You find a man harming his own brother. وتجده يحصل منه ضرر ولا يرفع ضرر. And you see that harm is being afflicted upon his brother and does not even lift a finger to remove the harm. And if you look at the affairs of the people, brothers and sisters, excuse me, this is exactly what you see. Only those who fear Allah, only those who fear Allah and are true Sharia compliant Muslims apply this hadith. And I could tell you while beating my chest that 90%, if not more, of Muslims in the world don't apply this hadith. The simplest is smoking. Any human being on earth who smokes is automatically violating this hadith. Inshallah, you smoke on top of a rooftop by yourself. You are causing pollution to the air and harming insects, mosquitoes, flies, birds, and the ozone layer. Let alone, you're not smoking on a rooftop by yourself, you're smoking in a building, you're smoking in a restaurant, you're smoking in the street with people around you, forced to take in the secondhand smoke from your lousy vape and your lousy cigarette and your lousy shisha. Whether you realize it or not, you are a criminal who is not applying this hadith, and you are a cause of harm and a cause of reciprocation of harm, because you're doing the darar upon yourself, and this is not unintentional, this is intentional. So in both cases, you're harming your body willingly, intentionally, and you're harming other people willingly and intentionally, and you cannot claim otherwise. That's sad, but that is real. And the same thing, the one who blasts music and makes everyone hear it, and the one who puts up videos of women and they make everybody watch it as part of their da'wah. I always have to make this disclaimer now because everybody's going to hunt me over this one video that I've taken down from the internet. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Everybody's going to hunt me over it. So I have to make that disclaimer every time. I became the bad guy. Like MashaAllah, tabarakallah, all the other preachers and all the other commenters, all of them are angels, sinless angels. All of them are malaika, لا يخطئون ولا يعصون. MashaAllah, tabarak ar-Rahman. Nobody's ever had to do anything haram in their job. Everybody's job is 100% unadulterated, pure halalism. No, but of course they fall into the same thing, but no one knows about it. They keep it concealed. But when it comes to someone else, now they have all big mouths. Oh, ba, la, ha, hypocrisy. Well, it is what it is, you know? It is what it is. So all of these people are not applying this hadith. Where I park my car, the person who's next to me, who parks his car, is a terrible smoker. And he brings people with him to smoke with him during their break. Actually, not even during the break. The whole day they smoke. They work 4 hours and they smoke 4 hours. When I come to my car, parked in the parking lot of where I work, all around my car are cigarette butts. Under my car, near my car. When I get into my car reeks with cigarettes from these people smoking next to it. Absolutely no. These are Muslims. No consideration, no regard, no concern, no application of the hadith. La darar wa la dirar. ويقول المؤلف رحمه الله: حديث حسن رواه ابن ماجه والدارقطني وغيرهما مسندا أي متصل السند. مسندا meaning متصل السند meaning the chain of narrators is connected. The chain of narrators is connected. وقوله ورواه مالك في الموطأ مرسلا, as for the statement of the Shaykh الإمام النووي, that it was narrated by Imam Malik in the موطأ مرسلا عن عمرو بن يحيى عن أبي عن النبي عليه الصلاة والسلام فأسقط أبا سعيد, والحديث إذا سقط منه الصحابي سمي مرسلا. The hadith, when the name of the companion has been omitted, we call this hadith mursal. Yani the one who heard from the Sahabi narrates it to the other person, to the other person, to the other person in the chain, but they don't mention the name of the Sahabi who narrated it. It comes straight from the person who heard from the Sahabi. When the name of the Sahabi is dropped from the chain, this is called mursal. ولكن النووي رحمه الله قال, but the Nawawi, Imam Nawawi said رحمه الله, وله طرق يقوي بعضها بعضا ولا شك أنه إذا تعددت طرق الحديث, but it has different chains that strengthen one another. And the Shaykh said there's no doubt that if the hadith has multiple chains, multiple chain of narrators, وإذا كان كل طريق على انفراد ضعيفا, even if each one of those chains independently is weak, but when all are collectively brought together, فإنه يقوى. The hadith is strengthened. The hadith is strengthened. ولهذا قال الشاعر, that's why the poet said, لا تخاصم بواحد أهل بيت فضعيفان يغلبان قوية. That's why the poet said, do not fight with a person from the household of someone, because two weak people are able to defeat a strong one. Yani if you pick a fight, if you're one strong man, you pick a fight with a person who's part of a household, then him and his household will come after you. Even if there are two of them, they're both weak, but you're one person, then you're pretty much gonna get cooked. So yeah, هذا الحديث يعتبر قاعدة من قواعد الشريعة. This particular hadith is considered to be a foundation from the foundations of the legislation. وهي أن الشريعة لا تقر الضرر, and that is that the Islamic legislation does not acknowledge, does not approve of harm. وتنكر الإضرار أشد وأشد, and it criticizes and it fights the reciprocation of harm in a greater and graver manner. Wallahu al-muwaffiq, and with Allah lies success. So meaning Islam is against any type of harm you cause. And greater than that, Islam is even more severe against those who intentionally reciprocate harm. And so when you know this principle, and you know that there's a da'i, a caller, who's calling people to deviance, then you will understand that it's an obligation on the people to remove this harm, therefore clarify the truth to the people and warn against the innovator. That actually falls under this principle of the hadith. But sadly, most of these people who are emotionally wrecked online, they don't understand Islam. They don't understand Islam. They know two things about Islam. Love for your brother what you love for yourself. The Muslims and their compassion and love are like the bunyan. They have 3-4 narrations from this Quran and the Sunnah, from the Sunnah that they know, and a couple of ayat, and they don't know anything else from the principles of Islam. So as soon as you speak about someone or you do something, they immediately get involved. No, haram. Brother, why are you backbiting? Brother, this is pathetic. Brother, this is sad. Brother, you have no idea what you're talking about. Barakallah fiqh. You have no idea what you're talking about. Islam is not the 3 narrations that you don't even know how to recite. Islam has qawa'id, principles. And based on these principles, we behave and conduct ourselves. We're going to fall short, yes, but we go by principles. Anyways, I don't want to turn this into another drama session. We have completed successfully, mashallah, tabarakallah, the 32nd hadith. بإذن الله جل جلاله وتقدست أسماؤه. We are going to deal with a very important hadith next time, inshallah, the 33rd hadith of Al-Arba'een An-Nawawiyyah. Now you'll have a nice long Q&A, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam. So we know smoke is harmful for everything. Are we accountable for the smoke of cars, motorcycles? No, of course. Of course you're not responsible for things that are inevitable. It's inevitable. And no, you cannot tell me, oh yeah, brother, then go and buy electric cars. No, you cannot force and make it incumbent on the people to buy electric cars so that they don't have a smog coming out of their cars. This kind of situation is something that is beyond your control. It's not like you designed a car and you put smoke in it and you said, I'm going to put the smoke in order to harm the people. This is the result of having an engine that is running on fuel. So this is a byproduct of a mechanism for a vehicle to move. It is not the same as you buying a cigarette and smoking a cigarette and trying to harm the people. All right. Running the fingers through the beard in ghusl, is it fard? No. Unless you really have, no, it's not fard. But generally speaking, there's two types of ghusl. You already know the al-ghusl al-mujzi wal-ghusl al-tam. The one that suffices, the one that is complete. The one that's complete, if you have a thick beard, part of the wudu and part of the ghusl is that you do the running the fingers through the beard in order to make sure that the water gets there. Now, but it's not fard. Wa alaikum salam. What is the view of Al-Sunnah on the 12 Imams of the Shia? Do we have any authentic sayings from them, or have the Shia attributed so many lies to them that we do not have much? Please refer to my lecture, Malik. Please refer to my lecture, Wolves in Sheep's Clothing. Somebody post a link for the people here, please. My lecture, Wolves in Sheep's Clothing, is a complete dissection and expose of the Shia, their views, their beliefs, cited from their books and references. I've done myself and all of you a favor by Allah's grace that I've done the research on your behalf, and I cited the pages and the names of the books from where you get the belief of the Shia. So it should do the job for you, ya Malik al-Aliyan. Wa alaikum salam. Is it true that when a person sleeps, his soul rises to the throne of Allah? If he slept with wudu, the soul is permitted to make sajda. Yes, I need to verify the authenticity of this hadith. From what I know, that this is correct. Now, from what I know, this is correct, but I cannot confirm 100% because I don't recall the reference of the hadith, who narrated it and in which book. So this exists. Authenticity needs to be verified. Which software do you or your team family use for editing? Also, can you list the reasons why you believe reciting Fatiha is mandatory even in Allah rak'at behind the Imam? Now, well, I'm not the one who's going to answer which softwares we use because I don't use them. My family does, so maybe Mussab could reply. The reason why I believe it's mandatory because the Prophet ﷺ said, "La salata liman lam yaqra bi Fatihat al-Kitab." There is no salah for the one who does not recite the mother of the book or the opener of the book. So this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ does not mention salah al-fardiyya or salat al-jama'ah or salat al-jahriyya or salat al-ghair jahriyya. It doesn't mention congregational salah, individual salah, silent salah, the loud salah, or what do you call it, the audible salah. It doesn't make that distinction. It just says that there is no salah for the one who doesn't read the Fatiha al-Kitab, and therefore you should recite Fatiha on every rak'ah, whether you're praying by yourself or with the Imam. Wallahu a'lam. Wa alaikum salam. To what extent does the hadith apply in our lives? If we drink cola without compulsion, we are 100% harming ourselves, albeit with caloric benefit. So why isn't that haram like cigar? Well, because, okay, if you drink cola without compulsion, you are 100% harming yourself because because the harm, Allahu A'lam, Allahu A'lam. I haven't seen the scholars say that eating sugar or drinking cola or Pepsi is equated with smoking a cigar, because there is something that you get out of eating and drinking, right? There's something that you get out of eating and drinking. Now, whether for you to say it's 100% harming a person, Allahu A'lam. These are things that some dietitians have that observation and that rule, and a lot of them say no, you have to up to 50 grams of sugar per day, and to be specific, if you mean like added sugar, you have up to 4 tablespoons of sugar per day that your body can deal with, and it's not going to cause you any harm really. And so even those that are against sugar and bread and what have you, don't make that statement that it's 100% harming. Unlike a cigar, there's absolutely no benefit in a cigar or a cigarette. Oh, can't figure it out. Wa alaikum salam. How can one attain good thoughts of Allah while being a constant sinner? Well, by repenting from your sin. We are all constantly sinning. We sin all day, every day. You still assume good about Allah because Allah told you that Allah forgives all sins. Allah told you, قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ أَسْرَفُوا عَلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ. Say, my slaves who have transgressed against themselves, do not despair from the mercy of Allah. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا. Verily, Allah forgives all sins. So what else do you want? وَسَارِعُوا إِلَى مَغْفِرَةٍ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ. And hasten and hurry to the forgiveness of your Lord. وَجَنَّةٍ عَرْضُهَا السَّمَوَاتُ وَالْأَرْضِ. And a garden the equal to the heavens and the earth. أُعِدَّتْ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Prepared for the righteous. الَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً. الَّذِينَ إِذَا فَعَلُوا فَاحِشَةً أَوْ ظَلَمُوا أَنفُسَهُم. Those who, if they commit a heinous crime or they wrong themselves, ذَكَرُوا اللَّهَ. They remember Allah. فَاسْتَغْفَرُوا لِذُنُوبِهِمْ. So they sought forgiveness for their sins. وَمَن يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ. And who forgives the sins but Allah? You read the Quran, you understand that, hey, Allah is inviting you to seek forgiveness, to repent, and He promised you that He will forgive you. Assume good about Allah. Wa alaikum salam. How to answer the doubt that one may bring, saying, if smoking is haram, then some food are. I just answered that. Now, if a few friends, boys live together, but the place is small and there are only a few beds, are we allowed to share beds, or we must take the floor? You are allowed to share beds, but you have to place separation in the bed. They cannot be under the same blanket. They cannot be under the same cover or the same blanket. So they should create some sort of partition on the bed. This is assuming that they're all normal, sound people. If anybody has some wicked tendencies, then not only sleep on the floor, sleep in the bathroom by yourself. Is it okay to say please in dua? Yeah, it's okay to say please in dua. You said people of knowledge who do not refute are at fault. But I thought as long as others are doing the job, they are exempt, as the Fard al-Kifaya obligation will be fulfilled. Is correct? It is correct. But sometimes those people are in a predicament where they are more qualified than others, or their word is taken more seriously than others, or they are in a context where no one else is doing the job and they still don't say anything. I'm not generalizing. So there's a context where those people who don't refute anyone ever, there's a context where they could be sinful, and there's times when this is fine. If you're minding your business and you're teaching the people and someone else is sufficing you, yes. But if the other people that are doing the job are less qualified than you, or they're not taken seriously in the community, or you're in a situation where people are asking you and you need to tell them, and then you refrain from telling them, then you've withheld knowledge that they needed to hear. You got a problem, Houston. Wa alaikum salam, Habibi. Oh, sorry. Alaikum salam. I assume when you said Shaykh that you're a brother. I don't know why. Anyways, I'm not a Shaykh. I'm not a Shaykh. Do you have any advice for memorization of the Quran? Hey, barakallah fiki. Now, the advice for memorizing the Quran is that you find a method that is suitable for you and you don't overburden yourself. So what is your capacity? Is your capacity to memorize a page a day, 2 pages a day, whatever your capacity is. Don't go beyond that so that it doesn't become a burden. Find a suitable approach and then follow it and give it and allocate a dedicated time every single day for the memorization of the Quran. May Allah help us all memorize the Quran. It's a good reminder for all of us. But allocate some time of your day that is unquestionably going to be strictly for that. Now, there are shurut and mawani' for takfir. Is this also the same for tafsiq? Now, anytime anything related to musammayat, anything related to al-musammayat, you want to say this person is a mubtadi', this person is a fasiq, this person is a kafir, and so on and so forth. You apply the thubut الشروط أو توفر الشروط وانتفاء الموانع. نعم. We had a family gathering and my dad's doctor friend tried to convince us that not only smoking is not haram but also mubah. Allahu Akbar. This was around the time when you gave your passionate announcement. Okay? When you denounced Karim Abu Zaid, so I was naturally hyped up and started going at him regarding Aqeedah and deen, which everyone against me on. Do I keep my mouth shut in the future to avoid this? No. As long as you're able to speak and nobody's stabbing you or throwing you out the house, and you guys are maintaining a good relationship afterwards, keep speaking. Keep speaking the truth and don't fear the blaming of the blamers fi sabilillah. Don't fear the blaming of the blamers. Say what you need to say and let the people cope. Is it okay to make a Reddit post asking people if they want me to add their dua so I can add for tahajjud? That's a bid'ah. That is a bid'ah. Let the people make their own dua. Don't worry about making dua for the people. It is not from the sunnah that people make dua for each other via requests. All right? It's not from the sunnah to ask people to make dua for you via requests. The asl, there are some exceptions. Some of the scholars mentioned some exceptions, but the asl is that you make a dua for yourself. And you make dua for others without having to tell them, here, go ahead, give me your list. Who told you that your dua is accepted by Allah in the first place for you to say, okay, everybody, like how weird does that look and sound? Look, everybody, I'm going to pray tahajjud tonight. Like, that's like, where's the ikhlas? Where's the sincerity? I'm going to pray tahajjud tonight. Anybody has any specific requests so I could ask Allah on your behalf? And then people send you, yes, please ask Allah to, give my mother a comfortable bed. What is this? And then you ask Allah to give his mother a comfortable bed and he sleeps. So he no longer asks Allah, or what? How does that even work? Shaykh. La ma yinfa'. Ustad, what's your plan to counter iPhone's zooming camera button? I don't have any plans to counter anything because the iPhone 16 is only good for one thing. I have to be honest. I have to admit, I have to confess that Apple has finally done it. They have finally done it. And this iPhone 16 Pro Max is good for one specific thing. The table with the short leg in your house that keeps rocking every time you try to eat. Every time you try to eat, the table keeps moving. Get an iPhone 16 Pro Max and put it right under the short leg so that the table is stable. And then you could enjoy the best cup of coffee while looking at your Samsung phone. That's what the iPhone 16 Pro Max is good for. Period. Oh, the zoom button. Get out of here, man. It's crazy company, man. Zoom button. Y'all supposed to be removing buttons from the phone, bruv. We are at a point where you're supposed to be removing buttons from the phone. Y'all adding more buttons right now? Really? Really? The same device, iPhone 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 6 generations of the same exact freaking device. What? Stop it. Yo, stop it, bruv. Haram. 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 Oh, by the way, Apple company is directly involved with IDF and supporting IDF. Go do your research and find out that this company is directly involved in supporting the state of the Zionists, which I don't like to call Israel because Israel is the name of a prophet, Yaqub. But that company has political affiliations which we, Samsung, don't have. Samsung is a non-political company. It doesn't involve itself with anything of this nature. It doesn't go into any of this wickedness that these other companies are involved in. Some Chinese companies, they tap your phone and they listen to what you're saying, and I don't know what else. You know, they have their own spying system. Samsung is just straight up, look, man, we're trying to create beautiful phones for you to use them. So all of you Apple users, go do your research and find out this company that you're paying your dinero to, find out what it's doing with this money and how it's supporting the killing of your brothers in Palestine. Don't drink a Coca-Cola that will cost you $1. No, boycott Coca-Cola, but go pay Apple how much is it? $1,300. Adi, bravo. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. The hypocritical boycotters. They boycott the easiest thing in the world. He's on a diet anyways. He doesn't even want to drink Pepsi anymore or Coca-Cola anymore. And now, boycott Coca-Cola. Boycott Starbucks because he doesn't like Starbucks in the first place. 80% of them who are yapping about boycotting, they don't even like those products in the first place. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're still using other products that they're supposed to boycott as well. But now it's easy. Oh, I don't like McDonald's. It's unhealthy food. Boycott McDonald's. Allahu Akbar. Ya akhi, you're smoking. This tobacco company is American. It's all, you live in America, ya Shaykh. Your taxes are directly involved in these crimes. Just change the subject now, please. That's what they say. Oh, change the subject. Shaykh, you cannot pull these, not on us. No, ma'alish. I'm an old man. Don't be fooled by my young looks. I'm an old man. I've been there. I've done that. I know what's going on. I know what's cracking. I know what's going on. And a lot of you know what's going on as well. Those guys are clowns. They apply 20% of the Sharia. 20% of the Sharia. And then this 1% they found, which is supposed to now going to help the Muslims and give victory to the Palestinians over the Jews. Yeah, okay. Now, you keep fooling yourself, Habibi. Anyways, I'm all for boycotting. You can boycott. Just stop demonizing people that don't see eye to eye with you. That's what I'm saying. It's too hard to move. It's not too hard to move. أَلَمْ تَكُنْ أَرْضُ اللَّهِ وَاسِعَةً فَتُهَاجِرُوا فِيهَا. Allah said, wasn't the land of Allah spacious enough so that you can travel within it? Wallahi, those who say that they cannot move, it's because they don't want to move. Habibi, you don't have to move from America to Saudi Arabia like all of them say, oh, if I go to Saudi, they're not going to give me any passport. I'm not going to become Saudi. You think that if every Muslim came here, they're going to become Saudi? What are you, on drugs? Do you have to come to the Gulf region and live a 5-star lifestyle for you to do migration? No. You can go to Indonesia, Habibi. You can go to Senegal. You can go to some African country, live in the mountain, live in the jungle. For the sake of Allah, mister, I can't leave the country where I'm living in, blah, 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 blah. If I really want to, play this game, we can play this game. You don't have to come to a fancy place. You just don't want to leave your dunya. That's all. A lot of these people, I know some of you are genuine. Some of you, it might be better for you to stay in the UK or the US. Allah knows. I'm not generalizing and lashing out against anyone and everyone. But for a lot of these people, they actually can move and they can go to another country, which will demote their lifestyle, downgrade their lifestyle. But it's dunya, baby. So it's hard to move. No, it's not hard to move. No. You just don't want to move. Or at least, the least you could do, try. And when it doesn't work, you could say, Ya akhi, wallahi, I tried. I tried to go to Malaysia, it didn't work. I tried to go to Indonesia, it didn't work. I tried to go to Senegal, as you suggested, it didn't work. Nobody wants me. Say, Jazakallahu khairan. May Allah bless you. You made an effort. Allah is aware of your efforts. Inshallah, you're forgiven. Inshallah, you live on 70 Rocket Gate in the middle of Bradford, and you're all good. You tried your best. You couldn't do anything. But 90% of these people did not even lift a finger. And they're sitting there running after us in other countries about what to boycott, what not to boycott, while their taxes are going directly to the purpose of the eradication and genocide of Muslims. This is hypocrisy at its highest level. May Allah forgive us all. Now, wa alaikum salam. Is gold mining in another country haram as it belongs to that country, although doing it all legally? How could it be? I don't know. So is the government of the other country allowing those people, if it's legally, meaning the other country, the other government of the government of that where the gold is, allowed another entity from another country to come and dig their gold? What's the problem? If they're doing it behind their back, that's a problem. Wa alaikum salam. How does one obtain a kunya? If I have a daughter named Zahra, can I call myself Abu Zahra? Absolutely, Habibi. Kunya is generally based on the name of your first child, and generally based on the name of your first male child. But that is just culture. A kunya is any nickname you give yourself. So Aisha radiallahu anha never had a child, yet she was known as Ummu Abdullah, the mother of Abdullah. That was her kunya. And Ali radiallahu anhu had Al-Hasan al-Hussein, but his kunya was Abu Turab, because the Prophet ﷺ called him Abu Turab. Abu Huraira did not have a child named Huraira, but he was given the kunya Abu Huraira. So you could be called Abu Zahra even though you don't have a Zahra. You could have a girl named Zahra and a boy named Ward, and then you call yourself Abu Zahra, not Abu Ward. Or you could be Abu Ward and not Abu Zahra. And it's very flexible, Farouk. Whatever you want, Habibi. Whatever you want. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Abu Mussab, Hayyallah Shaykh Rami. Inshallah, you and your family. Well, alhamdulillah, we're all well. MashaAllah, nice people. It's nice to see nice people. What is the virtue and merit? Not that others are not nice, but if you read the comments on our channel, man, some people have absolutely, like, they have a problem with my manners. And I know my manners are not my greatest trait, but their manners are just as bad as mine. Like, if you're calling me out for having bad manners, can you have good manners in calling out my bad manners? But if you have bad manners in calling out my bad manners, then how are we different? We're both evil. You know what I'm saying? At least be nicer than me in calling me out so I can learn from you. Said, oh, mashallah, look how this person approached me, even though I'm a low life, bad person. That person had extended the courtesy. But some people are like the most evil mannered, and they're calling me out for manners. Ish hada, ya akhi, ish hada. Anyways, what are the virtue and merits of staying in state of wudu throughout the day and before sleeping? Wallahi, you're asking the wrong guy, ya Rami, because I can't manage that at all. You should ask someone who actually manages to keep his wudu. Allah musta'an. I mean, we know that the virtue is the hadith says no one maintains his wudu except a believer. That's what I recall from the hadith. And obviously, going to sleep in the state of wudu is also something that is praiseworthy in Islam. These are the virtues and merits they're mentioned in the hadith. I think you can easily Google this, ya Shaykh. You can easily Google this and find the answer to your question. May Allah help us keep our wudu. How to deal with protective jealousy over one's mother? What do you mean over one's mother? What happened to the question? If I'm in public with my mom or wife or sister and someone cat calls them indirectly, how should one deal? Cat calls them? What? Brother, you better swing. How do you deal with that? You go and you put this person in his place. You go and you scold them. If he's a Muslim, you tell him to fear Allah and have some shame. If he's a non-Muslim, you tell him, can you behave like a human and have some decency? You don't let it slide. You don't let it slide unless you're afraid that by doing that, you're going to create a bigger problem for yourself and for your family. In which case, you just, take them aside and you move away from the drama scene. So if there's a bunch of thugs or like a group of people sitting there together and, you're not going to be able to obviously take them all on, you just keep moving. Get out of that situation. Do not remain in that area. If you're sitting over there, get up and leave. Get up and leave. Can I say, Ya Rab, I ask you for everything I've asked you for in the past? Is this dua in accordance with the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ? No, I don't know of any hadith from the Prophet ﷺ that says that mentions that he asked him all that. But the Prophet ﷺ did make comprehensive dua that, oh Allah, I ask you of all good, that which I know of it and that which I do not know, and I seek refuge with you from all evil, that which I know of it and that which I do not know. There are other ad'iyah to this effect or of this nature, but I don't know of a particular dua that says, oh Allah, I ask you of everything you asked for in the past. What are you, just lazy? That is so lazy. And Allah Azza wa Jal loves that we beg Him in dua. Allah loves al-ilhah fi dua, persistence in dua, repetition in dua. So much so that some of the scholars say it's a sunnah to say every dua 3 times. Every dua you should say it 3 times. How lazy is this? Oh Allah, everything I asked you for in the past, please, once again. What? Come on, man. Come on, man. Give it some effort, bruv. You're obviously not him. Allah musta'an. Don't you think we need to re-examine the title of Imam Nawawi? The good he contributed is significant, but the harm is also considerable, especially regarding your specialty. Look, I'm not gonna. Who am I to change the name that the scholars have approved? The scholars of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah have approved of the imamah of Al-Imam An-Nawawi. They have approved of it and called him accordingly. So you don't. I'm not in a position to come and say otherwise. Okay, he had some errors in Aqeedah, rahimahullah wa afa an, and like Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, but that does not take him out of the realm of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, because they were not pure Ash'aris in their completely in their belief, but they had some elements of Ash'ariyah, and that's little in the sea of good. Yeah, you're right. As Malik said, the Shaykh Abdul Rahman Hassan has a very good video, a few videos I think I've come across where he spoke about this particular issue with Imam Nawawi rahimahullah. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Jazakallah khair for what you do. Ameen ya Mustafa. I've stopped playing guitar, alhamdulillah. What should I do with my instruments? Break them. What you should do with the instruments is break them. It was narrated from the Salaf that they used to break the musical instruments when they came across them. So if you have a guitar, smash it to bits and pieces, and use it in your chimney to, sit around a fire on a cold day. Burn the thing to the ground. Do not keep this guitar. Do not leave it for looks. Do not leave it for its value. Do not give it as a gift to someone who doesn't think music's haram, or give it to a kafir. All of these are types of ta'awun ala al-ithmi wal-udwan, aiding in transgression and sin. Don't get involved. Remove it, break it, get rid of it, destroy it. Do you recommend the film Lawrence of Arabia? No. What is Lawrence of Arabia in the first place? Why would I recommend a film to Muslims? If one of you is watching something, and keep it between you and Allah. You think I'm going to recommend people to watch this stuff? Whatever that stuff may be, come on now. We all have our shortcomings, but we don't have to publicize it. Well, mashallah, ever since I made the comment about the manners, now everybody's become super nice. Wa alaykum salam. Wa jazak wa antum jazakum Allahu khairan. Can you recommend any comprehensive books, articles, or videos that provide detailed guidance on the steps to take before and after a child is born? I had a lecture on that. What was the name of the lecture? Huh? The Muslim family, yeah. No, you post it. Post it somewhere. I don't know. I have something on it, but I'm sure you could find something better. If you mean in English, I honestly don't know. I'm going to post this one. Do you consider the Maturidis and Ash'aris are deviants like Jake does? Of course, the Maturidis and Ash'aris are deviants. Of course, the Maturidis and Ash'aris are deviants. Please refer to my lecture, my classes, Al-Aqeedah Al-Waasitiyaah. And what was the name of the video where I refuted this Omar guy? The 5-hour video? Post it as well. Absolutely, they're deviants. The only non-deviant people on planet Earth are Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, i.e. the Atharis, i.e. the Salafis. These are the only people on earth that are not deviant. The only people on earth that are not deviants and have not deviated and are adhering to the Quran and the Sunnah with the understanding of the Sahaba, the Tabi'een, Atba' Tabi'een, wa man tabi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yawm ad-din are Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the real deal Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, not the Atharis, not the Ash'aris and the Maturidis who claim or are claimant to Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and by Allah, they're not from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Never were, never will be. They never were, and they will never be from Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. They would love to be Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they're not. Ya Jama'ah, you have people that worship every dead man in every grave and they call themselves Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. This title has been used too loosely. Now, we need to call it a day, no? We're done? Alrighty then. No? Brother Ahmed, forgive me and all those. I seem to be harsh too. I'm just looking after the chat, so please excuse me for that. No problem, Brother Adil. Jazakallahu khairan for your efforts. Jazakallahu khairan for moderating and monitoring and what is the term? Regulating the chat. I know you do this out of concern for me. You're a little rough, no doubt, but then your roughness is justified because you know how easily I get confused or I get distracted. So Brother Adil does it out of love for hopefully his brother in Islam. And so we should all just be understanding of the situation. I'm the one who complains every single time someone distracts me, and he just wants to make sure that everybody is in line. No problem. We all love each other. We can all overlook our mistakes. I could be mean sometimes. I could be harsh sometimes. I could be rough sometimes. And so could everybody else. When will the second video responding to Daniel come out? Hopefully, I'll have the chance to record it today, inshallah. There's a very good chance I will be recording it today, and it will not be like the first one. Just so we can be clear. The first one, you guys have to make a distinction between preparing and not preparing. The first one, I prepared nothing. The first one, I actually was commenting on the video as I go along. Like I had only seen bits and pieces, and I said, you know what? I'm going to react to this video. I had zero preparation. This time, I have actually listed the disasters of this ta'ban. I don't know if I could show you here. Wait. Oh, I closed it. I've actually listed the disasters of this guy by points. And I've prepared some response. So it will not be spontaneous, extemporaneous, off the cuff, mashi halak with my, critique and my sometimes overboard criticism. No, inshallah, it will be more, maintained and contained so that it is more academic than the first one. All right. Everybody, thanks. Say thank you to James. James has a profile picture that basically embodies him. And then he calls us or calls me a madkhali dog. This is the behavior of all Daniel and his followers. Daniel Hakikachu and his followers are exactly what you see here. This is his language, and this is the language of his followers, And those people are supposed to be the ones who love Islam. Look at the hypocrisy. Those are the people that love Islam and love implementing Islam and love applying Islam. His profile picture is a dung. His name is James, and he's calling his brother a dog and labeling him madkhali even though he doesn't know what madkhali is. Now, I'm not going to tell you the other ones who use actually foul language, the B word and the F word, adi. They can't even apply Islam in their tongue. They cannot even apply Islam in their choice of words, but they're calling us out for supposedly not applying Islam on, government level, because supposedly I manage the kingdom. I'm the one, I'm in charge. So we're madkhali because we tell you don't speak against the rulers, right? That makes me a madkhali. So I'm failing in implementing the Sharia, but for him, no Sharia is expected to be implemented. Adi. He could say whatever he want, be whatever he want. Bravo, James. Bravo, Habibi. Good job. Yalla khair. Yalla, we'll see you next time, inshallah. Jazakum Allah khairan. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.